was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no love. Yeah, I used to be stuck in that mud. Yeah, I was down, but now I'm up. I was down, but now I'm up like my name Lazarus.
Hey, Kaleidoscope Klan. How's everyone doing? It's Mariposa and I just wanted to come on and share a little more wisdom with you today. Before I get started, I want to give honor and praise to my grandfather, Reverend Isaac P. Butler. He's passed. May you rest in peace. But today is his Earth Day.
Happy birthday!
And he passed in 2004 at 98 years old. So I just want to give honor to him. I think I might have to do a video just about him because he was a remarkable man who touched many lives in Eastover, South Carolina and beyond. Yes, and so in honor of him also, I wanted to talk about how cleanliness is next to godliness. Why those two have been said to be related very closely. It's something that I didn't understand growing up. I had heard that, but I didn't understand the importance of cleanliness and the different levels to it. There are levels to cleanliness. You have to think of mind, body, spirit, environment, social circle also, and how you spend your time overall. So I made a few notes because it's very, very important. Like, religion should aid us in knowing these things, right? Spirituality, how to be most connected to our highest selves, our spirit. And a lot of religions are not doing that. They're, having people just memorize lines and things like that. But you have to go deeper, right? We have to have spiritual education. And so that is one of the things that I'm very excited to share because me, myself, I wasn't raised knowing these things. As religious as my family is, I had no idea. And it's also because they didn't live the principles of cleanliness on almost any level. So I'm very happy to share it with you. Okay, so first let's talk about the body. Okay, it is very important to clean your body. Okay, it's very important to do it regularly, daily, I would say. But sometimes when it's cold, I understand that people don't want to get in water, but yeah, that's why hot water is so important, right? In my family growing up, during the winter time, we never used heat. We would walk around in robes in California because it doesn't get like too cold, but it gets cold enough where you don't want to get undressed and get in any water if you know that you're going to be dealing with cold air, right? So there were times when I didn't wash during the winter time, very much as far as actually submersing myself in water because I'm very sensitive to cold. They used to say I had anemic tendencies, which, it was just cold in our house, really. But I just want to give you the actual information as far as why it's important to clean your body, okay? Because your physicality is connected to your spirituality. And let's just say that someone was trying to direct negative energy to you. It will stick to you more if your body isn't clean. So just by washing every day, you're washing yourself spiritually. That's why baptisms are, important, or why they're highly coveted or whatever, why they're seen as, being spiritual, because water is a very spiritual element that helps us to clean ourselves physically and spiritually. So just on a basic, because I actually spoke to someone who told me that they only washed once a month recently, and that they didn't sweat. They ate pork and didn't sweat. So I mean, that kind of stuff is actually very serious. That means that you're extremely dirty on the inside, and that means that you'll be very susceptible to very nasty energies, okay? Just like your vessel is very filthy. So please wash your body, okay? It's very, very important. If you have issues, work through them and wash your body. So besides on the outside of your body, you also have to be clean on the inside of your body. So that has to do with your diet, what you eat, making sure that you drink a lot of water, because that's what water does. It cleanses your insides, right? So again, like people who don't want to be bothered with the idea of managing what you eat, there is a reason why, eating meat and cheese and breads, things like that, you don't want to do it too much because it clogs your system on the inside. And that will open you up to, of course, diseases, and also being constipated physically, but physical constipation equals spiritual constipation, okay? You not being able to let things go spiritually, emotionally, it's just very unhealthy. So if you're not having bowel movements every day, then chances are that you have stuff backed up inside of your body that you need to cleanse. This is why people fast regularly. Some people do intermittent fasting, which means that you might not eat for a long period of time during the day, and then you only eat like one meal, or you eat, certain light meals. You have to be conscious of what you're eating, not just how much, but what it is that you're eating. So that's one of the reasons why pork is seen as a very unclean meat, is because the pig doesn't sweat, and so it holds a lot more toxins in the meat, and when you eat it, there are more worms and stuff inside that meat. So it's not just fluff when people talk about certain kinds of meats or have certain kinds of ideas. That's why vegetarianism and veganism serves a lot of people. Now, it all depends, of course, on your genetics too. Your blood type matters. There's certain blood types that need more meat, and there's certain blood types that don't. Like in their ancestry, it wasn't normal to eat a lot of meat. What was normal in a lot of indigenous communities was to only eat meat, once every 2 weeks, once every month, and it would be blessed, which is very important. The whole kosher idea is around the whatever you're eating being spiritually clean, because of course when you kill something and you ingest it, you're ingesting the hormones that animal had. If you treated it really badly, if it was suffering, then you're going to take in the hormones of fear and pain and all of that, and it's just not nice anyway. So yes, like the idea of praying, being thankful for the animal that is sacrificing its life. Me, myself, I don't eat meat right now. Like for a moment, I did for like at 50 years old, I started eating it for a couple of years because I felt like I needed the collagen and the injection of protein. But I stopped now again because spiritually, I have found that, and also physically, the constipation aspect. Like, I just am not a meat eater, you know. I do crave like fish and stuff like that, but right now I'm not eating any meat. Not to shame anyone who does, because it does have value. I'm just saying that spiritually, I've had to go through my journey and really work things out for what is best for me, because I'm a very spiritually based person, and I've had to be in order to survive in my life. These are choices that I've made, but everyone has to make their own choice. Okay. So there's outside of our body, inside our body. Now also when washing, if you want to do like serious cleansing, then salt baths are really valuable. Salt is very cleansing, like salt water, right? Like ocean water naturally. God gave it to us. But when you wash yourself, it's recommended to take salt baths at least once a month, like for the full moon or something like that, new moon, full moon. But you can't really go wrong with adding salt to your bath water. You can also add things like herbs and oils and things like that, which will add certain elements, healing elements. You can add crystals, you know, all these things, you know, flowers and things. So yes, cleansing in and out opens you to receiving clean spirits, okay? You can also do foot baths. If you don't want to do salt baths that much, you can do foot baths, which will affect your whole body as well. Those are very cleansing spiritually, okay? So that's the body. Then we look at the mind, okay? Having a clean mind, okay? So a clean mind requires that you consume positive things into your mind. That means that, you know, you have positive thoughts and intentions and visions, right? And so that means that you can't engage in like a lot of negative conversation, or focusing negatively on other people. You know, you should focus on uplifting things. So positive affirmations are one of the things that are good. You know, if you have negative thoughts about the possibilities in life, you need to change those thoughts, because you are creating with all of your thoughts. So positive affirmations, you can say them, you can put them up to give you those thoughts. You can do things like vision boards, positive images, negative media, negative music. All of those things are not clean. So I would say that you should be very conscious about what it is that you're taking into your eyes, your ears, movies. You know, like I don't really watch like big movies very much, unless there's a purpose. But I'm not someone who mindlessly watches movies. I haven't watched horror movies since I was a child. I don't listen to negative music, because the lyrics really do bother me. I'm very sensitive. So I consciously create playlists that are uplifting, and I consciously use my voice and sing them. I consciously put myself in positive environments and stuff. We'll get to the environment part though. But yes, you can journal. The thing is that being positive requires that you purge the negative. So it's not saying that you can't ever listen to music that expresses negative feelings, because if you have those feelings, then you need to acknowledge those feelings. And journaling is one of those things where it gives you the power to process negative energy and then to transmute it into positive energy. So you have to give yourself permission to have the feelings that you have. And actually, there's one technique called tapping. Look it up, EFT, where it's about saying, you know I feel this, but I know I'm this. I know that that's not, what I'm giving power to. Basically, you tap on certain parts of your body and you remind yourself that you're okay, that even though this has happened to you, that that's not you, and that you are choosing something else. Okay? It's all about transmutation, because we all have negative experiences. We all have negative thoughts at times. But it's about bringing awareness to that and consciously changing those things. Okay? So, again, it's about having pure, positive thoughts and intentions, things that are empowering to you. So you can use journaling, positive music, positive entertainment, movies, and affirmations. Okay? So, mind, body, spirit. So spirit kind of encapsulates a lot. So let's talk about your environment. Okay? Your home, where you put yourself. These things are very important in your spirit. There is a science called feng shui. Look it up. All of these different things, I've studied all of these different things. So if anyone, wants a consultation on different ways to clean up your life, I'm available. But feng shui is a Chinese science about the placement of things in your environment and how it affects you. Okay? And overall, so colors affect you, images affect you. One of the most important things is light, okay? Having light in your space, having air in your space. The more light, the better. Like, you don't want to have like dark corners where you can't see. You want to have everything kind of illuminated. Mirrors are really great to bring more light to a space. Windows and things like that. And you can consciously, I'm not going to get into all of this, but if you need to adjust certain areas of your life, there are certain areas of your space that you can bring more illumination to, that you can change the colors, you can bring things like water, like a fountain, different things like that. Crystals, again, are really important. Smell, whatever you smell, like incense and things like that, are really important to cleanse your environment and your body. You can smudge using different herbs like sage, palo santo, copal, frankincense, and myrrh, and others, rosemary, rue in English, root is in Spanish. So that is why people use these things, because it literally cleanses your space of negative energy. Okay. Of course, you want to keep your place clean, like literally keep the floor clean, keep the walls clean. Like if you have any filth anywhere, clean it, I would say also, like, you don't want to hoard. You don't want to have a whole lot of stuff in corners. That's part of a sickness, when people feel like they need to have a whole lot of stuff, because it's kind of like a psychological idea that you don't have enough. So for me personally, minimalism has been really great. When I traveled, I couldn't carry everything with me. So it's like you can only take 2 or 3 bags and that's it. And I've kind of kept my lifestyle like that. Like, I don't need a whole lot of dishes, a whole lot of, books, even though I love books, but I can't carry them. So I have to choose what's important. I only have a few, and, there's stuff online or whatever. Even my crystals I had to cut down on, because I had big Himalayan salt lamps, which I love, which are really great for feng shui. But I couldn't carry them with me because they're too heavy. And, you know, when you're traveling, you get charged for these things. So had to cut it all. So yeah, minimalism. I would encourage anyone, like if you feel like you have a whole lot of stuff, get rid of it. You know, only keep the clothes that make you excited. Anything else, throw it out. Like, don't hold on to stuff that isn't the best. You know, at one point, I had gotten a silver spoon. It was the only thing I was eating with. You know what I mean? It's like, just be selective and just get the best and cut out all the fluff, because clutter and junk, it clutters your mind. It makes you have to focus on taking care of a whole lot of stuff when you could direct that to yourself and take care of yourself. You know, that's all spirituality, is your priorities. Materialism, as far as being focused on that, is not cool. It's a real sickness within American culture. So definitely, as far as your space is concerned, keep it as clear as possible, you know. And then you can also uplift your space by plants, candles, as far as more light. Yeah, like essential oils. Again, you could use essential oils as far as oil burners and stuff like that. And also as far as the sounds that are in your place, like you can use sound frequencies to uplift your environment, make it cleaner. Okay, so generally the higher the sound, the higher the frequency, but there are frequencies that correspond to your different chakras in your body. So you can use them to heal different areas of your body. Look it up, the different sound frequency for healing. And you can go on YouTube and play those things. You can play, you know, harp. So you can play Chinese traditional music, which I love. You can play, you can have your own bells. I have different chimes and bells that I use to clean my space. So yeah, it's really good to clear you of negative energy. Okay, so you can use sound. So those are all really powerful things that you can use. Next, you can look at your social environment. Okay, well, besides your internal environment, you can go outside. Okay, grounding and all that. I'm sure you guys have heard about that. Being outside, being connected to nature is very important. So do that as much as you can. That will help to clear your energy as well. You know, people laugh at like the idea of hugging trees and stuff like that. But actually making contact with trees, it does cleanse you spiritually. Having your feet on the ground, all those things, it helps you to release negative energy. Okay, so back to your social environment. Okay, the people that you interact with is very, very important. And you know, for a lot of spiritualists, I know that a lot of spiritualists are loners simply because the social environment is so toxic as far as what's normal to people. And so it's better to be alone than to be with people who do not uplift you. If you have people who lie, cheat, steal, gossip, you know, and don't practice their own methods of cleanliness, then reduce your time with them, if not cut them out. Okay, if you can, cut them out. If they're like, if it's not possible, then reduce your time or take more control of your space and your time when you're dealing with them. Don't follow them and don't allow them to dirty up your environment. Okay, stuff like gossip and stuff like that, that's actually black magic. People don't understand that you don't have to study spirituality or magic to do negative spells. Okay, if you're talking crap If you're cooking with bad intentions, saying negative things, you're conjuring negative things. That's what black magic is, okay? So you don't have to be a, professed witch or anything in order to do black magic. People do it all the time. In fact, people in the churches and the religions are some of the most profound black magicians that there are, okay? In fact, speaking of your environment and, images, I wouldn't put up an image of something that you wouldn't want to see in real life. I'm not going to say which religion I'm talking about or which, but you should never put up images of people suffering or in pain. And you shouldn't focus on them. That is the law of attraction in a negative way. Okay? So let's just say that if you're praying to anything, let it be something uplifting that you want in your life. Don't focus in on something that's depressing and sad. Okay? That's not clean. That will make... When you are down, when you are depressed, that opens you up to negative spirits to latch on to you, okay? Depression is a type of spirit. Okay, so again, in your social environments, only supportive people. If you have people in your family, like they can get a cord attached to you where they know your weak points and they bring you down, and that's part of their black magic, whether they know it or not. They might know it. You have the conscious decision of how you want to manage your own life. So if you want to cut people out, there are cord cutting rituals you can do. Look it up on YouTube. There's Reiki around cleansing yourself from past sexual partners and all of those things. You have to cleanse yourself spiritually, and there are processes you have to go through, again, with journaling and stuff like that. You can heal yourself. I'm not saying that you should, because not everybody's qualified to do that, but you can definitely get the ball rolling, and then you can get a professional to help you, or someone who has some experience, okay? So along with that, you have to look at where you're hanging out, locations, okay? So low vibe environments are places like bars and clubs, because people are drunk and on drugs, and they call alcohol spirits for a reason. It actually brings in, certain spirits. Now, there are times in spiritual rituals when people use alcohol, or when they use things like psilocybin mushrooms or marijuana, things like that, for positive, intentions. It all is about intention, and also the quality of the spirits around you, certain people around you. And so if you go to a public place where it's just random, you can be more susceptible to negative spirits, especially if they're playing music that's negative, okay? We should all learn a lesson from this whole P. Diddy thing. It doesn't take rocket scientists to know that a lot of the hip-hop music is corrupt and negative and a very low vibration, presenting negative images of women as being, as not being valuable, presenting negative images of men as being thieves, crooks, criminals, low-minded individuals that have nothing righteous going on and never think about building themselves up and building their communities, right? Unless you go into the underground of hip hop. Shout out to Black Star, shout out to KRS-One, shout out to Lauryn Hill, you know, who has suffered a lot for her righteous stances in the past. Look up the Unplugged album that they don't even allow her to do in concert. Okay, so much respect to the musicians that have put themselves on the line and who are not promoted because of the positivity and the consciousness that they have promoted. Got to give a shout out. So, yeah, you have to be very conscious of your social circle, your social environment. You are accountable. If you are an adult, get it together. You know, it's not cool just to be mindless up in this piece because, you know, they're trying to destroy everybody spiritually. Before they do it physically, they have to do it spiritually. So be clean, okay? And the last thing that I wanted to share is having a clean schedule, like how you spend your time. Just like I was saying, minimalism in your space, let's talk about minimalism in your time. Don't waste your time. And what I mean by that is don't keep yourself busy doing a whole lot of unnecessary stuff. Take time to sit and do nothing, because that is how you're going to be available to spirit. So go into nature, sit by yourself. Don't have people around you all the time. You know, develop your own thoughts, develop the way you feel. Take time. I know myself, I'm the oldest of 5. I never had personal time. We couldn't even lock our door. People would just walk through any time without, you know, without any kind of notice or whatever. So your personal space is really important, you know, value it. And we come from a slave driving culture, so they shame people for sitting and doing nothing. But sitting and doing nothing is your God time. And I would encourage anyone who feels overworked, overdriven, you know, or you're always thinking about the next thing and always this and that, you know, take it down 1,000. That's from a different world generations ago. But yeah, take it down 1,000. Having personal space and time to be quiet is really, really important. It's cleaning your space, okay? It's clean your schedule. You know, when they said to take a day of rest, most people don't. That doesn't mean to go to church, because that's still a day of doing something. A day of rest is a day of rest. That means a day to not do anything, to rest and just do what you feel like doing. You know, I would encourage everyone to have at least one day a week where you don't do anything. You go into nature and just veg out, okay? You don't have to get other people together. And, you know, for mothers, that, you know, that whole, you know, one day a week to go to church is not a day of rest, okay? That's a day of more responsibility. In some cases, you're working even harder. So, but I'm saying for everyone, even children, we need to give children more time to sit by themselves and meditate. Let them just listen to sound frequencies and give them time. It shouldn't be seen as a punishment for children to be sitting in quiet or, you know, yeah, people need to learn how to do yoga, you know, just commune with your own body, with your own spirit, okay? So, I think those are all the things that I wanted to say. Yes. So cleanliness is next to godliness. Okay. This video is very important. It's very important. I also want to mention that when you're cleaning your space, you know, you can again use different herbs and things, salt, things like that, you know, to keep your space clear. Salt is one of those things people put in the corners of their room. They use it in the windows and stuff like that because it will absorb negative energies, you know. There are lots of things you can do. Spiritually also, you can use bonfires to rid yourself of negative energies. Fires are good for also absorbing negative energy. That's something you can do for the full moons and stuff like that too. All the elements are really very powerful. For those of you who don't know me better, I had facilitated a sweat lodge for a few years, and after facilitating still, when I moved to Mexico, I worked with a team for the Temazcal. I was a Temazcali, a Temazcalero. I worked with Temazcal for years also. So that is a great way to cleanse yourself, to be in a sauna and sweat it out. One of my favorite ways. And you can sing and all of that. Singing and dancing also cleanses your spirit, which is another secret. That's why you should do it as much as you can, okay? Because those that are trying to control you don't want you to have your own direct line to spirit. But these are the things that we do so that spirit is working through us directly, okay? So that's all about like your chakras. You know, if you have stuff that you haven't said, you might have to clear your throat chakra by giving voice to what you need to say. Singing, dancing, yoga, moving things through your body is very important, okay? Yeah, so those are all the things I can think of at this moment. Again, using colors can help you. Study color therapy, study sound therapy, all these things, crystal therapy. You can use them all very powerfully. You see, I don't wear stuff I do love how they look, but I wear crystals because crystals are powerful and they help to cleanse you. This is selenite. Selenite is one of the most cleansing stones. You never have to clean it, and it helps to cleanse all your other stones. So selenite will help to keep your spirit elevated as well. Yeah. And the black stones are more to protect you from negative energies, okay? Like shungite, obsidian, jet. Black tourmaline is the best, okay? Because black tourmaline will transmute that shit and send it back. Someone tries to send something to you. So anyway, these are the things, okay? And it's all about keeping yourself cleansed spiritually. The metals are good too, like copper, but keeping yourself cleansed spiritually so that you can be open to spirit and you can find your way to your real purpose here on this earth. We're not just here to, you know, be born, work, and die. That's not what it's about, okay? We're here to share our God-given gifts with the world so that we can make a positive impact. In order to do that, you have to be clean, okay? Okay, pause. There is one more thing that I did not mention related to being clean. And when we're talking about being clean spiritually, we have to talk about being connected to our ancestors. If you want to be powerful spiritually, one of the most important things you can do is to honor your ancestors, which is why I give honor and praise to mine, like I did at the beginning of this for Reverend Isaac B. Butler. It matters that it's his birthday, and even though he's not physically around, being that I am his descendant that has benefited from what he went through in his lifetime, it's really important to give honor to that. Being thankful is extremely important to be clean spiritually, regardless of what you go through, regardless of how perfect the ancestors might have been. It's really important to acknowledge them. Their spirit is around you. And even though you're not conscious of it, if you keep them close to you, they will work to protect you, okay? And to keep negative energies from being around you, especially if they're elevated ancestors, especially if they did the work. Those ancestors, we elevate even higher. And then, of course, you can look at the one creator, of course, and if you're into like archangels, angels, Orisha, all of these things, all of these entities are the one that we recognize as different energies, okay? If a spiritual person is conscious, you know that you're really honoring the Most High and the different expressions of the Most High, right? Right. So if you have a father God, you have a mother God. The mother is the creator, so so it's very important to be conscious of the polarity, the duality in creation. And studying spirituality is just a way to get closer to it and to be able to keep it in balance within yourself. The more you study it, you don't have to study it, but no matter what, you should study your ancestry. Do your best to understand it and to tap into the different tools within the culture that your ancestors had. So for me, of course, I'm of African descent. I lived in Ghana, so I was able to really delve into those cultural aspects, so, African dance and music is really important to me. But in America, we have a very powerful culture, that is tied to African culture and indigenous culture in the United States, which a lot of Black people are also indigenous to America, so-called Black people. So all of these things, all of these tools are very important. Drums are really important as far as stirring up that spiritual energy. The old Negro spirituals are very important if you want to tap into spirit and to cleanse yourself. There's songs about transmuting the negative energies that our ancestors dealt with. They sang together, they fasted, and they sang for hours, okay? The churches today, well, I can't speak on the churches today because I don't go to church today, but the church that I remembered from my childhood that my grandfather ran, it was very African in the way that they sang. It had its own, style, and it was very soul stirring. So I definitely didn't want to end this without mentioning that your ancestors, tapping into your ancestors and God overall and the different entities that represent the way that God expresses itself, which is what the Orisha and the saints and the archangels really are. They're not abominations or anything negative. They're actually a way to honor God in the way it expresses itself. And, the better you know that, the better. I guess when they made God a patriarchal white person, I guess that's part of the reason why they said no other idols, because they wanted just to stay like that. But no, that's not what God is. God is no thing and everything. And then if you want to look at the entities that have sprung forth, then you can do that. Okay, so I just want to add that little deep. So yes, that's also, of course, around being spiritually clean is the tools of the culture and of our ancestors. Okay, Ashe. So I pray that illuminated something for you, and that you will be able to take these words and do the necessary research to make at least one little shift in your life that you will be able to reap the rewards from. Okay, so this is Mariposa Ma'at, and I want to encourage you to continue to embody your sacred transformation into your highest, cleanest self. Until next time, peace.
I was down, but now I'm up. Yeah, this all God, this ain't no love. Yeah.